In a world where it's tough to find real, authentic stories, we're here to share the true heart of the trucking industry and the soul of country music. We're going to dive into the life on the road and capture the essence of small town America, from behind the scenes of NASCAR to the brotherhood of truckers.
We're the last of the cowboys, giddy up gone boys.
We mix storytelling, industry insights, and musical highlights. So come on, y'all, and let's hit the road. Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of The Road Show with Tony Justice and friends. And man, today we're excited to have my good buddy Jacob Bonham from Bonham Transportation, driver of the world famous hater-made Peterbilt. Man, me and Jacob get to do a lot of truck shows together and hang around and be around each other. And Emily, we're all really good, close friends, Misty and all of us. And man, I'm excited to have you on today, man. Appreciate you for taking the time to be here.
Oh yeah, thank you, man. When I got the phone call, I was actually in Idaho when you called me about it, and I was excited. I've been looking forward to this day.
So I know we both have big genuine passions for the trucking industry, man. But what was what attracted you to the trucking industry? What age was you when you realized you might want to drive these trucks up and down the road and all that good stuff?
I guess probably when I was a young man, growing up in school, 5 or 6 years old. My grandfather actually used to be with a construction company in Lufkin, Texas. And, on the weekends, we'd be at Grandma and Granddaddy's. We go out and in the pickup truck, he had a CB, right? And, so we go out and talk truck drivers on CB out in the yard. You know what I mean? Fifth wheel truck stop in Lufkin's not there no more. But we always talk these truckers, you know what I mean? And, of course, they're always the hand, the hand horn. We always do that, when we see truckers. But, my father used to take me out to Noel Chamberlain's out here in Swift Hill. He used to haul cars when I was a kid. And my cousin Gary, we'd go out there to his house, and we'd be around all these 18-wheelers. Back then it was cab overs. They had cab overs. They had some conventional trucks too. But we go out, and that's when I first fell in love with trucks, what it was then. I knew I wanted to do it, honestly. I was going to do it. There was a passion for it. When I was a teenager, I actually started working at an 18-wheeler shop in Center, Texas called Imperial Truck and Trailer. Billy Davis, he owned that shop. He took a chance on me when I was 16. I went to school, worked in the shop. And I learned how to work on trucks before I actually ever drove them. You know what I mean? And I knew when I turned 18 years old, guess what? I was going to get my CDL. And that's exactly what I done. I learned, but before that, I learned how to change brakes, clutches. I could tear a motor apart. I ain't no motor man, don't get me wrong. I could probably build one with the help, but the bare maintenance, I can do it. I can fix lights, I can wire, I can chase, scenarios down. I can change wheel seals, brakes, drums, adjust the clutch, change transmission, change rear ends. I can take the engine out. I can basically put a truck together and take it apart if I needed to. I learned that as a young age. And then when the second day after I turned 18, I had already had an appointment set up to go take my CDL. And Martin Middleton Transportation, he let me use his Peterbilt with a belly dump. And we went down Nacogdoches, Texas. And I passed it right off the grip. I remember backing in. I had to pull in the DPS and back in and like parallel park up against the curb. And when an instructor came out and we did my walk around, we did a walk around, and I thought we were supposed to do backing up. She said, I seen you back up if that was you. You ain't got to back up. You can back up. So then we went trucking, and of course I passed it, and I passed the CDL. I came back home that day. That was on a Thursday, I believe. On Saturday, Martin asked me, hey, man, you want to drive my 78 cab over this weekend, haul some gravel with a belly dump? Got a job going on down in Woodville, Texas. I said, yeah, sure. Heck yeah. Yeah, we'll do that. And I got that cab over 78 Freightliner with a freaking belly dump, and I went to haul gravel down in Woodville, Texas. Nice. Here I am up against it, you know what I mean? First trucking is in the cab over, man. So we're trucking, And during my second day, that was Saturday, Sunday, it was a weekend job. Dang old water pump went out in the old truck, right? It had 300 Cummins with a 9-speed in it. So we fixed the water pump on the side of the road. Of course, my weekly job, I had to go back in the shop, you know, because Martin was actually married to Stacy, who was Billy's daughter, and they owned the shop together, an 18-wheeler shop. And so I went back to work Monday through Friday. I was jonesing to get back in the truck, man, and go trucking. And Sean, with S&S Trucking, you know, he would bring his trucks in and we would work on them and stuff like that. And he told me, he said, man, I'll put you to work. I was 18 years old. Nobody and their mama going to insure an 18-year-old. You know what I mean? He said, I'll put you in it was a Mack truck and pup, right? Dump truck with a pup trailer. He said, you can haul gravel for me. So I said, done deal. So I jumped off in that Mack, man, I'll run the wheels off that sucker. For about 9-10 months, you know, I worked it. By the time we got rid of that truck, it was time to go to the auction, straight up. Went to Rich Brothers auction, and I thought I had the baddest R model Mack around, man. It was white with a black bed, straight pipes, lights all on it, lights on the pup trailer. But I'll never forget, we go to Louisiana. They supposed to go to Louisiana at 18 years old. Those are the interstate only, right? But a lot of them rock drivers go to Louisiana. So I'd go to Pickens, Louisiana, Maryville, all that in there, you know, hauling this gravel, these ultra locations back then. And never got pulled over. I'd run in, run out, run in, run out, you know. And then it was probably, I guess when I was, right when I was 19, I was about 19, I guess, I decided to go ahead and get my own truck, you know. And at the time, though, I had a 1-ton that I was hauling watermelons with. My uncle was driving it, you know, down the valley, pulling watermelons for a watermelon outfit. And so Sean had put me in a 359, Mocha Pearl 359 he had built, and I pulled a reefer. And I went down the valley and I was hauling melons, you know, and then with 359, he was building me a 379 and a 92 379 flat top. So I went trucking down there with the 359, and then I come back and he put me in that 379. Well, I got the 379. It had a 440 big cam 4. 13 double over, had 410 gears in it. That sucker would pull, you hear me? Mm-hmm. And so I went trucking in that truck, and then I got homesick, honestly, right? Like, you know, I'm coming back home, man. I'm done with this. So I get back home, and I parked the truck. I told my uncle, bring my 1-ton home, because he was, you know, he was tired of being out there hauling melons anyway. So I went, and instead of coming home, I went home and went back to hauling watermelons in my own truck, right? So during that time, there was a lady down in Houston. She was going to Kroger to get some turnip greens. And she ran a red light, and I hit her. Boom, with my dually. I had a Dodge back then. Broke the neck in my gooseneck. I was loaded with watermelons. During the time my truck was getting rebuilt, Sean asked if I wanted to buy that 379. And I said, yeah, sure. I'll trade you my dually, my car hauling trailer, and my gooseneck. I was 19 years old. So we did. Even swap. You know, swapped him for that Peterbilt. And I started locally with an outfit out of Nacogdoches called Bailey Bark Materials, Jeff Bailey and all of them. They've been in business since the 80s, you know. And he helped me out. I went and got a PTO and a wet kit put on my truck. He leased me a walking floor trailer, and I hauled Texas, all over Texas, you know, with that setup, you know. I was home every night. Back then, you know, that in the 90s, you know, the late 90s, you know, shoot $4,000 or $5,000 a week, that was good money. That was real good money. You know, and I mean, I was young. I was knocking it down, man. And but yeah, that's kind of how I started. You know, I went and done that, and it was, you know, regional stuff. You know, with the walking floor. Matter of fact, when my buddy sent me a picture from way back in the other day, both our trucks parked at an angle. He had an old 359, and that brought back a lot of memories from way back then from my old truck. You know, and that's how I did it, and that's what got me into it. You know, I hauled equipment back then. I hauled cattle back then as well. I love hauling cattle too, man. It's fun. It's exciting. Stay up a bunch. But other than that, if I wasn't doing what I'm doing now, I had a good cow hauling gig, trust me, man, I'd be pulling a wagon, you know, because I love it too. But I knew at a young age, man, like I said, from way back when I was talking to truckers on the CB and going out to Knowles, you know, just being around trucks, you know, and knowing even back then, trucks is what moved America back then. I knew that, you know, and my father was in trucking. So, you know, and Sean brought me up into trucking, You know what I mean? And he actually instilled in everything in me to today of actually how to truck, honestly, how to run a business too, and how to be where I'm at today. You know, that's a long time ago. I'm 46. I was 18 then. You know, I've had my ups and downs, you know, from the mistakes I made, you know, and had some vacation time in there in between, you know, from the 2001 until 2014. Had a long vacation, but at the end of the day, we're back rolling 10 years strong now. I'm back doing what we love, you know.
Awesome, dude.
And that's trucking.
Well, we're going to take a short break. We'll let our sponsors come in and talk about their products and services. We appreciate all of our sponsors and advertisers that helps make the Road Show with Tony Justice and Friends possible. You guys stick around. We'll be back in a few minutes. Make sure to smash that share button, hit the like button, leave us a comment. Let me hear from you guys. We'll be right back.
There are folks out here who still take pride in their everyday ride. Low profilers, million milers, chicken lights, and chrome stylers. The ones who do whatever it takes to keep America rolling. Those who know if a job's worth doing, well, it's worth doing right. Full stop. Great products for real people.
Based on family and faith, the book, Into the Long White Line, is a must-read journey of a retiring truck driver and cattle hauler reflecting on his life dating back to 1966. Experience the love, the pain, and the untold stories of life on the road. Make sure to add Into the White Line to your reading list today. If you're running ultra-low diesel in your vehicle, make sure you are prepared and protected all winter long with Hal's Diesel Treatment, the #1 anti-gel product in North America from the trusted brand that's been around for over 100 years. Check out their full line at houseproducts.com. Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Road Show with Tony Justice and Friends. We appreciate you guys tuning in. We're having an absolute blast with my buddy over here, Jacob Bonham. I'm not even going to delete that out. Keep that. That's funny.
Got you.
Hey, man, so we talked about the humble beginnings, you know, the pulling gravel, hauling watermelon in your 1 ton. And so here we fast forward. You got this badass ice blue 379 Peterbilt that's known all over the world.
Yeah.
And you got this cool job hauling heavy haul, man. Let's talk about the truck a little bit. How did all that come about? When did you get the truck, and when did you really start looking at getting into the specialized side of things?
Well, so predate, like coming in the industry for what I was doing. I was actually at a pipeline company. You know, I worked my way up to where I was at over a pipeline company in a heavy haul division. And I was manager / you know, I hated being in the office too. I wanted to go trucking. Another thing Sean Smith allowed me to do. He brought me into this company, and I excelled at it, right? With Troy Massey, who owns Tri-State Vacuum Rental and Massey Motor Freight, one of my really good friends and mentors, he tried to hire me for a couple years, man. Come to Tri-State, man. I'm happy where I'm at. You know, we go to truck shows, and I'd beat him my old Kenworth W900 or 379 Pete that we had at the truck show, you know, and he'd always be like, he'd always hit me up at the show, and I'd be, man, I'm happy. He went so far as put a big old billboard sign up and where I live at now, where I worked at here in this town, right there where I got to pass it every day. He had no business in this town. You know what I mean? We appreciate our drivers. Our drivers are the backbone of this company. We want you, right? I seen that sign every day. Every morning I seen it coming to work. And every day I seen it multiple times a day. Well, then one day we were at a truck show, man, and he hit me up again. And I said, I tell you what, man, which one of these trucks can I have? Right? At that time, Bocephus was Taz, and Lot Rot was Lot Rot, but it was the working side of Lot Rot, right? He said, you can have whichever one you want, or I'll build you whatever you want. I want you to come start a heavy haul division for me. I said, let me think about it, right? He said, okay. And so I told him a few of the things that was going on at the company I was at. They're not in business no more. I'm not going to say nothing bad about it, you know, but I told him some things that was going on, you know, and things that went on, and he looked me right in my eye, and he said, if I tell you something, it's as good as gold. Trust me. You can take it to the bank. And because, you know, some things that were promised before that, you know, they were, you know, going back on, you know what I mean, per se, right? Yeah. So I went back, man, and then, you know, just it took about 2 weeks, and I just said, man, I'm going to Tri-State, man. I'm going to Tri-State. So I'm in the office one day. I told Bonehead, Chris Wilkins, I said, you want to go with me? And he said, yeah. I called Troy. Right then he answered the phone. I said, hey, we're coming. He said, okay. Gave him a 2-week notice that day. It took a week of the notice I quit, actually. You know, the way they did Sean when he was there, honestly. You're Sean like a father figure to me, you know what I mean? He brought me up and everything, you know. So he was there as a manager as well, you know. And we were going to Ohio, going after some dozers, coming back. And yeah, so things went on, so we quit. And I was there on a Saturday talking with Troy in person. I was actually going to a softball tournament because I love ball too. And, you know, he gave me his undivided attention, never looked at his phone one time, and we talked. Did a deal Monday, drug test, went to work. We started searching for trucks, you know. I was looking all over the map, wasn't sure if I was going to build a new one, a used one, or what. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I called my buddy Shaggy, who I knew had a white flat top named Casper that he might would sell. And name is Justin Gray. And he told me, he said, man, Daddy got that Legacy he'd probably sell. I said, huh? He said, yeah, Daddy said he'd probably sell that Legacy. And I said, okay. I said, find out if your daddy will sell that Legacy or not. And he said, call me back in 5 minutes. I said, all right. So I called him back in 5 minutes, and he said, yeah, Daddy said he'd sell you that Legacy. That was a one-owner truck when Troy got it, right? Troy Gray, Shaggy's daddy, out of Spurger, Texas, down by Woodville. So I told Shaggy, I said, tell your daddy I'll be there tomorrow to pick it up. Straight up. I didn't know how much he wanted for it yet. I knew what they were valued at, you know. And he started laughing. He said, Daddy said, don't rush down here. It's yours. I said, okay. Tell him I'll be there Wednesday. So I called Troy. I said, hey, man, I found this Legacy. That's what I want. And me and Troy went down and picked it up, you know, on Wednesday. I hid the truck. We took my truck, Lot Rot, and Bocephus, which was Taz at that time, down in New Gen, Port Allen, Louisiana, to have them built, you know. And totally redone my truck completely. As you see it today, New Gen Services built the truck. You know, Kenworth of South Louisiana, the Gray location, they painted it. You know what I mean? And, you know, I spent weeks, you know, with Darren trying to figure out how I wanted to build this truck, honestly, you know. And I asked Troy, I said, Troy, I want your input. You know what I mean? I want your feedback. I want to build this with you. You know what I mean? Yeah. And he just said, man, just build it. He said, just make sure it has Talladega fenders on it. I said, okay, we'll do that. That's already going on it anyway, you know? Yeah. So we built the truck, and at one time I was going to paint the frame black with blue deck plate and blue and black T-bars too, kind of a mixture of colors. And actually the paint guy down there told Derek, tell me that would look cartoonish. I said, well, paint it all blues in. I don't want enough blue. I don't want too much chrome. Don't want too much, or lack of, too much blue and not too much blue. So we did it. We built it like that. And how the truck became hater made was because of the internal hate I received at work. You know, I mean, I came over there like a tornado, man. I worked my butt off. I actually had TS-124 and I had Taz, which is Bocephus. I had 2 trucks. And I had that truck being built. But I worked my butt off. You know what I mean? I kept my head down. I took care of business. I mean, I worked my ass off, man, 100%. And I was always gone. Even though I lived close, I mean, I stayed gone 30 days at a time. But I'd be at the house, you know what I mean? Honestly, in the oil field. You know, we were doing, I was on the rig service side, which that means I'd go out to drilling rigs, and I'd service them, do oil-based transfers. I mean, water-based transfers, pull oil-based, you know, pull the sellers, pull the cutting boxes, whatever, and go dispose of them, right? That's what we did. You know, when they spud in, spud out, we'd all be out there, you know. And so I did that, and I made really good money while my truck was being built, you know, and we started building the trailer too at the same time with Globe. That's a 2020 model trailer that I had initially with the truck. And so I remember when the truck was, when I first laid eyes on the truck, I was going to name it Troublemaker or Hater Made, one or the other. You know what I mean? And I had hats made that had both of them on it, you know? And when I laid eyes on that truck, man, I said, God dang, that's a bad son of a gun. I built my dream truck. Troy Massey, you know, I said this one time on the YouTube channel, actually, you know, I wrote the check, he just signed it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So when I built the truck, but I knew the truck was going to be something special. I remember, I can pull a text message up right now from way back then, man. I said, this is going to hurt some feelings, man. This truck's going to make people mad. It's going to make people happy. I said, but you know what, man, I'm going to go out and I'm going to do what I do. That's all equipment, really specialized stuff. And that's what I done. I named the truck Hater Made, like I said, solely because of the internal hate I got. And, and that's why I named it that. And it's lived up to his name, man. Nationally, globally, worldwide, it lives up to his name. Still to today, people think I don't work it, but I do. And, I guess you could say I drove the truck for Troy. Troy Massey owned the truck, initially. He let me build the truck. He believed in me to start something with Tri-State Vacuum and Rental, the heavy haul division. Myself and Bonehead, Chris Wilkins, we did that with Lot Rod and Hater Made. And then Bobby Campbell come over and drove Lot Rod. And then we added $2 Pistol with Billy Sims. We started growing it. And then we had Comatose with Jay Badass. We started growing Tri-State Heavy Haul. With that time, I bought the truck from Troy. I purchased a truck in the trailer from Troy. I guess we've owned that truck now. How long we owned that truck? Since 2021? Yeah. So, yeah, we bought the truck in 2020. December of 21, we bought the truck and the trailer from Troy. And then, we turned it into Bonham Transportation. I actually was going to go pull a reefer. I thought that was fun and cool because I was tired of Specialized, honestly. But I had a great gig at Bottomley. Don't get me wrong. Shout out. I did have a great gig over there, pulling their freight. But there's only so many cool pictures you can take with a reefer or a dry van, man. I mean, I say that tongue in cheek, but I wasn't ever sitting. I was dropping hook. I was rolling with a reefer. Don't get me wrong. It just wasn't me. Specialized is me. I love it. I love the excitement of having something big and heavy on my trailer. I love being active, being able to change stuff down. I love the challenges of being, 16 and a half foot tall or 17 tall or 23 wide or 120, 30 foot long. I love that. I love that.
There's nothing any funner than running through a town with Gary Jones ripping power lines down at 2 in the morning. I mean, come on. Pure entertainment.
I was getting to that. You know what I mean? If we had a camera, Gary would tell you, and you're speaking to Gary has been huge for me. Whenever I was at Tri-State, Gary used to load me with CNC machines, man. He entrusted me to go to Cali, pick up these big CNC machines for his customers. He handed me one of his customers, out of Chattanooga. I hauled for them. I handled everything down south. He took care of everything everywhere else. And Gary is big. I always give shout out to these people that have been integral in my heavy haul world. And that is Gary Jones, and that's Truett Novosad. Even Jamie Williams. I mean, all these guys you look up to, Bubba Branch. I mean, even Cody Chandra. There's so many people, the Linda Moods. I mean, you look up to these people, you Cali people out in Cali, commodity transporters. I mean, even John Lagmasora, I always butcher his last name, but still, you look at these people, and Chuck Capella out of the East Coast. I mean, these guys have been there and doing it in the industry, man. And when you see them and how they're doing their business, how they conduct their business, you're like, you know what? That's how I want to do it. You know what I mean? And you find that. So for me, I see it, and I wanted to be that person as well. I wanted to be good, upstanding. I want to treat you right. My service record is right, but I want to be like them as far as business standpoint, And I give a lot of credit to Gary Jones. He's pushed me.
Absolutely.
He's been there for us. We work together every day. You know what I mean? Now, not only have my own company, but I also manage Massey Motor Freight's heavy division as well, along with Troy Massey, Robert Abel, and we still all work together, you know what I mean, for the same goal, and that's, Troy likes to say, man, we want you to work and have fun and make money, honest. We want you to have fun while you're doing that. I'm the same way.
Yeah, you got to remember those people, that help get you where you are, man, and always give them a shout out. And but anyway, we're talking about the specialized, Jacob. One of the things I've always, for the last 3 or 4 years, I've said if I had it to do all over again, I've been trucking 23, 24 years, and and I was always in general freight. Did some flatbedding and Conestoga, but never did really do any kind of specialized freight. And after being around for a while, I realized that's where the real good money's at. And so what does a person, from someone like you who does that, What does it take? I get a lot of people, even questions run through my own mind, like, how do you get the experience? How do you start getting that experience to even get hired for that job? What does it take for someone who's interested in getting out of general freight and getting more into the specialized side of things? What would be some recommendations that you would give those folks?
I get asked that question a lot as well. And I always answer it like this. I tell people who have zero experience, right, in it, I tell them to start off doing OD on a flatbed or a step deck, little wide stuff, uh, getting used to securement, getting used to reading a permit for your route. You know what I mean? Start off like that. I've had one guy that Billy Sims who drives for Massey. He drives Blue Bayou now, Blue Truck. He didn't have any heavy haul experience at all, period. But he's got 20-something years of trucking experience, right? And I knew he can go do it. And he's a phenomenal guy. I mean, he knows securement. He knows how to read a route. He knows how to work with his weights. He knows everything. You know what I mean? That's few and far between. But people who hasn't done it, and wants to do it, I always encourage them to try to get that kind of, experience first, or find a local company like a construction company, a rental company, or something like that will hire them as from a driver standpoint to get that experience. What's bad with a lot of companies, you have to have 3 to 5 years experience. And a lot of these guys, that's what they run into. Well, I ain't got how can I get experience? And nobody give me a chance to get experience, If you have trucking experience, like what we have in Massey, we have several guys that have 3 to 5 years of heavy experience, but it's minimal. You know what I mean? So you put them with somebody that has that experience, 10 to 15, 20 year experience, to give them that experience they're looking for. But like as far as the owner operator, right, wanting to get into it, number one, you have to surround yourself with people that are going to help you and encourage you, right? A lot of people think that the industry is tight-lipped. If it wasn't for somebody taking their chance on me, like Troy, like Gary Jones, et cetera, I mean, I did it the harder route. You know what I mean? But you still have to make your way. Number one, your service record. You know what I mean? Doing what you say you're going to do. Making sure you get the equipment there on time. Making sure it's not damaged. You know what I mean? But with any kind of industry, within our industry, your service record's all you got sometime, right? But I always just encourage people to find local contacts, especially their owner operators, right? And try to haul for them first. You can't just jump in till you see people doing what they're doing. You know what I mean? You can't just, hey, I'm here, let's go to work. It don't work like that. There is a circle of friends. There's in the industry. To get yourself in, you have to prove yourself, man.
Nobody.
You can't just, I own a truck, I got a trailer, let me go to work. It don't work like that. It really don't. No, it don't. And you have to work. You have to gain that trust, to do that. But there's one thing for certain. You have hungry drivers and you have hungry owner operators that will succeed because they want to do that. But what's wrong with our industry today is so many people trying to jump in it and they ain't got no reason to jump in it. Because they're doing bad over pulling a flatbed or doing bad pulling a reefer. And I just want to come get in your industry and fuck it up. You know what I mean? I mean, honestly, that's what you see all the time. But you still can encourage those guys. I guess you can see the status where I'm at within the industry. I do know there's kids, adults watching. You know what I mean? So you do have to, abide by a certain ethic, and you have to conduct yourself in a certain manner, and you have to teach because they're watching, just like your kids. Like my youngest son is watching my oldest son, right? So regardless, even though my oldest son not thinking about it, my youngest son is learning from him. Just like our kids learn from us too. Yeah. If we're a bad influence, then they're going to get, the same thing, the same way in the industry. If we're not doing it right, and people who are watching, they're going to do it wrong too. So like, I just always encourage people to either try to find somebody that can, willing to give them a chance, willing to show them the right way. If they're a driver, find a company that's willing to put them to work. Like I said, pull an OD on a step deck or a flatbed, right? To get the experience of, securement as well as also, read a permit. And if you're an owner operator, build a network of people locally that you're trying to, to haul for. And then once you build that network, then you can branch out. Once people see your body of work, then you can, continue, to grow within the industry, because it's not easy. I mean, I can tell you right now, 98% of my work is not in Texas, but I live here. So, I mean, I do have, customers right here in my town. I have 3 of them right here in my town, one of them in Dallas that I stay pretty busy with, you know what I mean? But they have their own trucks too, So majority, like 98% of my stuff is outside the state where I live. I do go all over, but at the end of the day, it's outside of where I live because there's so much competition here. And I always tell people, man, cheap ain't cool, cool ain't cheap. I'm not going to be the cheapest guy. Matter of fact, I'm probably going to be more expensive than the next man. But you want your stuff hauled right. You want it done properly. You want your stuff there safely and taken care of, then give me a call. And I always tell them that straight up. I lose more quotes because I'm too high than anything. And then you see it hitting the bridge or something. It's happened. So I always encourage guys, don't jump into something just because you think you want to do it. Make sure you're ready to do it. Because the heavy haul and the specialized game is not the industry you just want to jump. Same thing with cow hauling. I mean, honestly, it's dangerous. You know what I mean? You just don't want to I want to do it. Let me go do it. You know what I mean? I have the care in the world. And then there you are with an insurance claim. I mean, it's yeah, exactly. Ask Gary Jones about that when he got scared when he loaded them cows with me last year. But I mean, I don't know, man. I think if a man has the drive to do it, then he'll succeed in it. And finding that person that's willing to give him a chance. I mean, David Lowry would bid it. That man, I know for a fact, has given 3 of my friends chances. Okay? Right now, they're still working for a minute. All right? 4 of them, actually. You 5. All right? And I can name them right now, all of them. But I ain't going to put the business out there. But he took them in, man. And they're trucking. And they're doing OD. That's what they want to do. Over-dimensional stuff. And they're successful at it. When you find people like that, like David, did it, that's willing to take a chance on somebody, then that is what it takes. But it's not easy, guys and girls. You have to put the work in. You have to know permits. You have to know routing. You have to know securement. You know where to put the load at. And a little common sense. You know what I mean? You got to crawl before you can walk, though, in anything you do. So, and for me, it was just, I knew what I wanted to do, and I went and done it, And I always try to elevate. I did a YouTube video with somebody not long ago, man, about 3 years ago. And I try to keep going upwards. You know what I mean? As I'm going upwards, I'm bringing people with me. You always leave a trail of people you've influenced, right? Good or bad, honestly. You want to be known for somebody who's positive, that's helping everybody, because that's who you really genuinely are, right? And that's what you have to always be mindful of, man. People that are in the industry that want to do what you do, you make sure you tell them the truth. You don't bullcore them. Don't sugarcoat nothing. And that's how I roll, man. I want everybody to succeed, and I want everybody to win.
That's it, man. That's one thing I've always admired about you, looked up to you about. I see at these truck shows, and you always take time with the kids, and I see other drivers, not just kids, that could be truck, but other drivers asking, about heavy haul, asking questions about your truck. And you always take that time, man, to talk to those folks and answer their questions. I mean, every time I've seen you around, that's what you've been doing. And I've seen you personally, how you lift other people up. That's your motto, and you live by it. And it's because of the people that's lifted you up as you were growing in the industry and accomplishing your goals, and then that's what it's all about, man. And this is a great industry full of a bunch of great people and hardworking people that take pride in their industry. And you're definitely one of those guys. And man, I appreciate you. I appreciate you taking time to come on the show. And we're going to have you back because, like you, this went by way too fast. There's a lot of things we wanted to talk about that we didn't get to. We share a lot of things in common, not only in trucking, but also, with our wives, Misty going through cancer, you're Emily battling breast cancer right now, and so we've been through that. There's some other things we wanted to talk about, so we're definitely going to have you back on and talk about those things. Yeah, man.
Oh yeah, anytime, anywhere, anytime, any place.
But until then, man, thank you so much for coming on. We love you, brother. Stay safe out there on the road. Everybody else, just speed safely out there. God bless you, and hopefully we'll see you on the big road. Till next time, take care. Hey, y'all. My good buddy, Brant Terry and his family at Terry Law Firm have been representing truckers involved in trucking collisions for years. As truck drivers, we need a knowledgeable lawyer on our side that understands truck cases. The Terry Law Firm knows the FMCSA regulations as well as today's modern video system telematics. I met Brank years ago when he took on a case for my mom, so I know they're going to treat you guys like family and leave no stone unturned in your case. To get a hold of him, simply call 1-800-51-TERRY. That's 1-800-51-TERRY. Or reach him online at www.terry-lawfirm.com. Tell him I sent you. Glad you did. Thanks for tuning in. If you like today's show, then do me a big favor. Mash the share button, be sure to subscribe, and leave us a review. Also, be sure to follow us on social media for more updates and behind-the-scenes content. Until next time, God bless, and as always, speed safe.